We've talked about cost minimization, and here we are going to spend a bit of time on the structure of the market. And with the structure of the market, I will touch on why it's important that you understand the characteristics of the market that you find yourself. Okay, the structure of that market will influence a lot of things. It will influence how you behave in the market. It influences the pricing decisions. It influences advertising decisions. Certain markets you don't have to advertise, okay, because the returns you get on adverts will be very small. So the structure impacts your profitability, and so we'll spend a bit of time on market structures. I will emphasize that certain markets, if you want to become a billionaire, those markets will not be for you because you will not make any supernormal profit in those markets. And there are certain markets you make. Okay, so depending on what your objective function is in life, you can choose a market. Okay. All right, so market structures. Let me officially start the course. Introduction. What is industry/market structure? We say that the structure of the market is influenced by a number of characteristics. Okay, a number of variables characterize the nature of the market. The first variable or the first characteristic that we talk about is the number of firms. How many firms are in that market? Even for any business any industry that you want to go in as a person, you need to ask yourself how many firms are in that market. If there are few firms, then you know who your competitors are going to be, right? If there are a lot of firms, so many of them, then you cannot target any individual firm because there are so many of them. There are hundreds, thousands of firms. Okay. If there's just one firm, then it's a monopoly firm market. Then you need to also be on the lookout. Okay. Monopolists will not allow you easily into those markets. So they can behave in ways that will affect your entry. Okay. So market structure, the number of firms influences the structure of the market. Let me mute everybody. Okay, so the number of firms, the size distribution of these firms. So how big are they? Okay, are they small firms, small firms, or are they large firms? Okay, economies of scale, they have a huge number of branches. Please mute yourself, Matilda. I keep muting you. Okay, okay. So size distribution of firms is very important in the industry. You should be aware of how big these firms are. Are they small? Are they big? If they are small firms, maybe they lack market power, so you can easily venture or easily enter into those markets. Industry concentration, how concentrated are they? It can be regional concentration. They are all in Accra. There's none in Kumasi. You want to go into the Kumasi market, or they are concentrated on a product, so but not on other products. So you need to analyze the structure of the market very well before you spend so much amount of money trying to enter into those markets. Technological and cost conditions. What type of technologies do you need in those industries or markets? Okay. Certain markets, you need very expensive technologies to be relevant. If you use very archaic technologies, you cannot survive the market competition. Okay, so do you have to go to China to get these machines? Can you go to, I don't know, Kumasi magazine to get these people to design a machine for you, or Accra Kokompe or something? What is the technological requirement for this market? Cost conditions, so you can see that it's linked to cost. How expensive is it for you to enter these markets or start up a business in the market? So the cost condition can influence even your entry decision. Okay. Demand conditions. Never go into a market that has close to zero demand, like people are not buying the product. Okay, so that's why we spend some time on demand analysis. Analyze the market very well. Okay, don't produce a good that there's no market demand for. Okay, so demand conditions can impact the market. But demand conditions goes a little beyond just whether or not they are consumers or people who demand the product, but also analyzing how many people actually want the product. Okay, is there only one buyer or are there a lot of buyers? Okay. You already can analyze these things. If you have only one buyer for your product, then your business is not sustainable. Only government buys your product. What happens if there's a change in government? You lose your you lose the entire business. Okay, so these are characteristics. Ease of entry and exit also influences or characterizes the structure of the market. Okay, how easy is it for you to enter into those markets or the industry? Can I just get up today and start a business or enter in the market? Okay. All right. So how easy is it for you to enter to this market? Can I just get, what do I need? I just need maybe to start selling tomatoes. You need a basket and you are in business. Okay. So how easy? Do you need any certification to start a tomato selling business? I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe you guys know. I don't think you need FDA certification to start selling tomatoes, right? So it's easy to enter. If you sell the tomatoes and ease of exit, if I'm selling tomatoes and I realize the market is not good, I just use my basket for garden eggs, right? Ease of exit, okay. But if I start mining gold and I import like a machine for mining and it doesn't work out, then I need to figure out how I exit. And that is why the cost conditions can be so high that it becomes an obstacle for you to exit. Okay, you are making losses, but you can't cut your losses. You still staying there, praying and fasting that things will normalize, right? And then sometimes you take on a lot of debt. Okay, so you need to analyze the market for yourself. I'm starting my business. I'm asking these questions: number of firms, size distribution, industry concentration, cost conditions and technological conditions, demand conditions. How easy is it for me to start this business? In the event that it doesn't work, how easy is it for me to exit? Okay. Yes, Randy, go ahead. Randy, your hand is up. Please go ahead. You are muted. Okay. Sorry, you are still muted. Let me take Bismarck.
Sir, please, where do we place risk?
Risk in terms of the market or in terms of any of the characteristics?
In terms of the market.
Like
can
the
we
risk. Yeah,
as,
explain a bit. Go ahead.
Can we consider risk as a factor? Something we have to consider before?
That will be linked to the last one. So the ease of entry and of exit. If they are embedded, there can be risk attached to any of them in any ways. There can be risk, demand risk, where people, you think that there is demand, but you start production and there's no demand. It's risky also. The ease of entry and exit, embedded in that is some bit of risk analysis, right? So what happens if I enter? Or what happens if I enter into the market and I want to exit? Okay, can I? So you do them, all those things, but it doesn't characterize the market per se by saying that this is risky, but it's risky based on the number of firms, right? If there are so many firms, then it can be risky. Size distribution, maybe they are big, they can affect you. It's embedded in the structure. It's not characterizing the structure. We cannot say that, okay, this business is risky. It's risky maybe because the cost conditions is very costly and there's a probability that demand is also less. Okay, so that can affect you. Okay.
Hello, Doc.
Yes,
my question is, I couldn't raise my hand earlier. I couldn't speak. Yes, I wanted to ask the level of government regulation. Where do you put that?
I'm coming. hold on to all the questions. I'll analyze that. Government plays a very important role. I have a few slides on government. Okay. Okay, so let me go on. These are some of the characteristics, but I have a slide that goes into more detail what can create how government can influence the structure, cause competitive market to become monopoly market. Okay, so just a second. All right, so an introduction, we are saying that the structure in which the market, the structure of the market can influence the firm's conduct, how firms behave in the market, okay, and and ultimately impacts their performance. Okay, so if you are in a monopoly market, if you take the first example, number of firms, if you are in a market with only one, if only one firm is supplying the output, their behavior, their conduct will be different from if thousands of firms are producing the output. Okay, so your behavior will be quite different. Um, yeah, so I'm in class. Okay, so firms conduct and performance. Um, so the first conduct that we will look at is pricing. If you're in a monopoly market, your pricing decision, you are the only firm. So you decide to today you feel like increasing the price. That's what you do. Okay. So you're pricing. You can increase the price. But if you are in a competitive market with thousands of firms, okay. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Akosia. All right. So sorry. There's a challenge in one of our projects I had to deal with. Okay. All right. So the firm conduct, we are talking about pricing, we are talking about advertising, we are talking about research and development, and we are talking about measure. The structure of the market can impact pricing. Okay. If there are few firms like Gasem, Diamond, their pricing decisions are different. If you had only Gasem in the market, the way they'll price will be completely different. Okay. Somebody was telling my executive MBA class that if it was only Gasem, we'll be buying one cement at 100 Ghana cities. So I don't know how that is, but I think it makes the point that the structure of the market will impact pricing. The structure of the market will also impact advertising. If there are 1 million firms in the market, like tomato sellers, one firm cannot go to a radio station and say, I'm advertising tomatoes is good for your health, right? The returns on advertising will be close to zero for that firm. Okay, so nobody will advertise unless the person can brand the tomatoes and put it like a labels on them and say to differentiate Antiamesh tomatoes from Antiakusius tomatoes. Okay, so advertising influence the structure of the market influences whether or not you should advertise or not. Okay, so if you are alone, in some cases, if you are the only firm, you don't want to advertise if people know about the product. I've not heard ECG advertising that their electricity is what do you call it, mentally friendly. But if you go to places like you go to Europe, especially in Germany, for example, where the supplies of electricity are many. In fact, every year at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, they send you flyers whether you want to switch. One of the things they sell, one of the characteristics that they market is the energy or the environmental friendliness of their electricity. Okay, so there's always advertising on whether or not you want to switch to another supplier. In Ghana, they don't have to do that. Okay, you come. Okay, so the structure of the market, the structure of the market, the number of firms, the size distribution, they impact advertising decisions. Okay. Let me see, there are a few comments, if I can address some of them. Yeah, Australia as well, yes. In Canada too, the same thing. And they give you discounts. Yeah, they give you discount. I switch, I used to switch every year. Okay. And sometimes they give you free stuff at the beginning. So they give you like 1 month free. I always will switch to another supplier. So that is it. But if you are in a monopoly market, they don't have to advertise. In fact, if they are inefficient, they easily just pass it on to you, right? So these are some of the things. I'll give you guys some examples as we proceed. Yeah, I'm a rational person. Yeah, somebody said that. As a rational person, I need to switch. Okay, you switch and come back to the original. And then they become well behaved, then they give you a better offer. It can be very expensive, especially when the winter is very long and you're paying so much in heat on hydro and other stuff. It can be very expensive. All right, so advertising is a conduct. So pricing, advertising, research and development is very key also. All right, the structure of the market will tell you whether or not you should spend so much money on research and development. Okay, I know that you guys remember BlackBerry. Okay, they were behind the competition. They were not putting so much money on advertising. It used to be a very big company in Ontario. Like it was a half of student jobs. People just go there summer break to help with the BlackBerry production, and they just lost all. Samsung were investing, Apple was investing. They didn't spend so much money. So that competitive market with Apple, Samsung, they dropped out, leaving just a few companies. And then the Chinese came in because they were spending so much money on research and development. So do it for your own firm. It may not be so much of spending, like you don't have the capital to do intensive research and development, but just a little bit of that research and development will help you, give you the competitive edge. Okay, so get one national service person or two to head your research, collect the data, do the analysis, and improve your business. Okay. The last bit is measure activities. Companies can merge. It's a conduct, okay, depending on the structure of the. Maybe there are two big companies, the size distribution, they are too big and too small. The small ones can come together to be more competitive. I think we saw it even the banking sector in Ghana and also the Tigo. Are there other measures in the market that I'm not aware of? Companies coming together. You can just raise up your hand, I'll call you. This is graduate school, so I'm not going to talk for 3 hours. If you have if you know of any measures or you are involved in any of the measures, you can raise your hand and I can call you. Anybody? I know the famous ones are Tigo, Airtel, and then the market. Yes, Randy.
Yes, the merger between First National Bank and Ghana Home Loans.
And the Ghana Home Loans. Yeah.
Yeah, Ghana Home Loans Bank.
So that's a very good measure. So it's a conduct. You can stay in the market and say, I'm not coming together. But looking at the competition in the market, looking at the structure of the market, you need to you need to really think fast. Otherwise, you lose a lot of money. Okay. Some of the businesses you took a loan, $1 million cedis, $1 million to start, and competition alone can kick you out of the market. You lose everything. You have to sell your house. Okay. Space Phone and Ariba. Hey. Space Phone and Ariba. Did they combine? Were they two different companies? I don't remember. I don't remember whether they were. I know Space Phone was there and then it transformed to Ariba or somebody bought it. Could be. Could be that another company bought it. And Ariba now MTN. Okay. So and Kasapa and so many measures. I don't know. I remember they were changing names. I don't know the exact structure, whether it was measures or acquisition. Okay, it's not bad to merge. Okay, I know that as Africans as we are, we feel like we need like family-owned businesses, right? Sometimes even listing on the stock market, people are very skeptical. They want it to still remain family owned. And sometimes that structure doesn't help in terms of expansion. Okay. So you think and make the right decisions first. Sometimes maybe keeping it at the family level is the most optimal decision or rational decision to take. Okay. All right. So we've talked about structure of the market. You should keep in mind some of the characteristics of the structure of the market. And you're saying the structure of the market can impact conduct, how people behave in the market on these characteristics. And let me see the comment before I touch on the last bit of it. Yeah, Consolidated Bank, yeah. UAC and Liver Brothers, yeah. UAC, are they alive? Yeah, UAC and Liver Brothers. Okay, so the last bit here is saying that the conduct of the market, so structure can impact the firm's conduct, and the firm's conduct will impact performance. Okay. And the performance indicators can vary. So from a pure economics point of view, you say profitability. So to maximize profit, that's what a firm wants to achieve. But sometimes it's not really profit maximization. It's more like, it could also be like market share maximization. You want to have this biggest size, okay? But not necessarily the high profitability, but you want in the market, you are the go-to when the product is mentioned, right? So that is what you have. Your profitability is key. Social welfare. Some firms may be maximizing some social welfare, social corporate responsibility, or they want to win an award or something. We all have our different objectives when it comes to performance. So you can think of other performance indicators that firms have. Can be quality out products. It can be some either quantity or quality. Quantity is linked to profitability directly. Quality can also be linked to profitability. All right. So let me put, before I go into the structures, let me put this into context. The structure, conduct, performance paradigm. So far what I've emphasized is that there is a linear relationship or a causal relationship between the structure of the market, the conduct of players in the market, and performance, right? So that is what we have highlighted so far, like a linear relationship, okay? There are people, economists, who believe that this relationship is linear, and there are others who believe that it's not linear. Myself, I'm part of those who don't believe that this is a linear relationship. Okay. So there is a feedback critique that if the relationship is more cyclical than a linear one. And the cyclical part is saying that there's no one-way causal link. Conduct can also impact the structure of the market. Okay. People can behave in such terrible ways, or let me not use terrible, but you'll behave in certain ways that it can change how the market is structured. Okay. Let me give you an example. If there are about 5 firms producing a product, like Gasem, Diamond, or the cement companies, cement is now a little over 40 Ghana cedis or so. Okay, 38 and 42 depends on where you live. Okay, so if say Gasem is very rich, they have a lot of reserve profits from past years that they are ready to go into a price war. They can misbehave in terms of conduct. They can just sell gas cement at 20 Ghana cedis. Okay, if they sell cement at 20 Ghana cedis, it will collapse all the other 3 companies. Okay, so the moment they do that, because the other companies cannot produce and sell cement at 20 Ghana cedis a bag. So because we have analyzed the cost already, we are saying that the price should at least be greater than the average cost of production. So they cannot sell the product below their cost. So if the cost is 30 Ghana cedis per bag, and now they have to sell at 20 Ghana cedis, the company will shut down. So Gasam can do that predatory pricing, or go into like a price war, where they reduce the price to close to 0, right? Because they have money from past years. They've made a lot of profit past 20 years. Some firms do that. They save a lot of money in preparation for a future war, price war, right? So if they do that, and I'm coming, Andrew, so I come to you in a jiffy. If they do that, there are 5 firms producing cement. At the end, the structure of the market will become just GASEM. Okay, when they kick out all the other 4, okay, and they will leave the market. What do you think they will do after they've left the market? They will wait for you to sell off your assets, and they may even buy your assets, and then they will increase the price to even 50 Ghana because they are a monopoly and fight all competitions. So we are saying that there's no one-way causal link. Conduct can also impact structure. So conduct can affect market structure. And market performance can also affect conduct. Okay, so performance can affect conduct. Okay. Some people, they are very well behaved until they become rich, right? So the company is not making profit. They are well behaved. Their conduct, they don't increase price or reduce price. They follow what the industry is saying. The moment they hit certain level of performance or profitability, they become terrible. Okay. They reduce price, they over advertise, they do promotions, buy one, get one free. They will just doing things to collapse other competitors in the market. So performance can affect conduct, and conduct can affect structure. Okay. And performance can also affect market structure directly. Some firms are so well performing that at the end, the others cannot compete with them. So they become a monopoly. Okay. So market performance can affect both conduct as well as market structure. Any question? There was a hand. What's the name? I've forgotten the name. Please come back. Yes, unmute yourself.
Yes, Doc, I want to ask that with the scenario you're given, are they permitted to do that? To just bring the price so low to collapse the others? Are there laws that bars them from doing that? Or any firm has the leverage to do that, to sabotage the other?
Certain industries, they are. Certain industries, like once you have a regulator, okay, centralized regulator checks for price undercutting. Okay, like the insurance. You cannot just, it was a big problem some years ago with insurance. People, you could just call an insurance company and then they'll say, okay, but we do something about it for you. But now there's a standard that if it's a car of this nature, of this, there's a metric that you can differ so a little bit, but not so much. Okay, so you cannot do that. I don't know about the cement industry, whether there are strong regulations on pricing. I don't know. There are regulations on the quality of the cement. Apparently, there are different types of cement. I had no clue. I thought cement for cement. As long as you build and it doesn't break, you are good. But apparently there are a lot. So I don't know whether there are regulations on that, but it's not at the country level that there are regulations on underpricing. Okay, if you are efficient and you can sell your cement at 25 Ghana cedis, then fine. But if you are not, but I don't know, maybe somebody knows. Let's take Nanaya. Maybe Nanaya has a follow-up to that.
So, good morning.
Good morning,
Please,
Nanaya.
Please, I don't have a follow-up. I wanted to get the understanding of how the social welfare links with the structure, because you talk about social welfare and social responsibility. How does it link with the structure, the conduct, and the performance? I didn't get it well.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the social welfare is under performance, like, so it's under the broad umbrella performance. And I'm saying that even though the objective function of the firm is profit maximization, some firms may have some social objectives, okay, as a performance indicator. It may not directly be profit. It could be that they want to reach poor communities, okay, so, or to reach poor households. So even though they can take some lower, they are not maximizing profit, but they are maximizing social welfare, the society's outcomes. So it's not a standalone, it's under performance. It's a performance indicator a firm can set. Okay, so
Okay.
I hope that is clear.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Let's take Francis. Francis, please go ahead.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, please, I want to know, prior to the cement industry,
yeah,
if there are restrictions or regulations that somebody shouldn't sell below a particular price, like the person want to monopolize the system, so you want to sell below. but there are regulations that he shouldn't sell below that price. Can he do conditional sales, like you buy 10 and one free,
Yeah.
or you buy 3, one free?
Yeah.
Can that one be hold?
Yeah. So let me say that I'm not aware. I don't know whether they cannot sell below. I don't know. I have no clue. What I see in the market for cement is that once one increases, the other one is like sitting on the wings, already expecting that they will increase. Like they are hoping, they want one to make the move so that they can all follow, but they make more money at a higher price. But I don't know whether or not there are regulations preventing them from reducing prices. Um, Maybe the cost of production for both firms, all the firms are very similar, that no single firm has the incentive to unilaterally reduce price. Okay, and because if you reduce price, maybe it will go against your profits and maybe your relevance in the sector. So, but the promotions, they've done that. The guys will do promotions. There was a time one of them even gave free transport if you buy more than a certain amount. It's all part of the market. Later on, when I go into the exact market structure that they for, we'll analyze what you have to do even to be relevant. And you will know that for the sector like cement, if you don't advertise, you are in big trouble. Okay. And if you don't do promotions, you are in big trouble. Okay. So you have to even make sure that the truck drivers, you treat them nicely, you give them tea and coffee when they are loading. Okay. So many things. All right, I'll come back to those things later on. Yeah, Randy, come in.
Yes, on the cement issue, I heard on the grapevine that Gasem, they sabotage Dangote cement. So Dangote is out of Ghana. That's why the price has increased. Because when Dangote came, they came with lower prices. So they had to, yes. That's what I heard on the grapevine. I don't know how true it is, but on the grapevine.
But is Dangote still not in the market? I thought they were.
I heard they've left. They've left. They've left Ghana.
Really?
No, they are still in the market. They are still in the market.
Dangote.
Yeah.
Then maybe they've decreased because it's not like it used to be.
Yeah,
because
it's not like it used to be. It's not like it used
because
to be.
Yeah, when they came first, they came with a lower price, so all of them had to reduce.
So I think that is exactly what I've been trying to tell you guys, that in the market, don't joke with the market structure. Okay, don't just sit aloof saying that, oh, I have a company, but you are not keeping track of the competition that is in the market. Okay, just look at the MTN. There was one company, I wasn't around, but I know that is it Nigerian company competing with MTN.
Yeah,
Yes,
Globe.
yeah, Glow. And the competition they faced when they were trying to enter into the market, and when they entered, the competition they faced. Okay, because these other guys were having promotions, blah blah blah, a lot of things. Okay, so if you end up being a CEO, you are the CEO of a company, please keep an eye over the structure. Be able to analyze how the market structure is changing, and what your competitor can actually do to you. Okay, if you don't keep an eye over what they are doing. All right, so we are saying that the structure of the market impacts conduct performance, and then the reverse is also very true. Okay, let me see the comment. If you have any comments, additional stuff, you can always write in the chat box. I'll read them. Okay, so before we go into the exact structure of the market, let me put all the characteristics into a framework. And I always tell all my students that if you're starting a business or starting a new business, take this slide, take this particular page, think through all the issues, okay? And organize yourself well before you venture into the industry, okay? So in the middle here, we are saying that the level, the growth, and sustainability of industry profits, the profits within the industry. If the industry is not making profits, if you enter, the likelihood that you make profit is slim. Okay. So what are the factors that will impact the level, the growth, the growth and the sustainability of industry profits? 5 key factors or forces. Entry conditions will impact the level, growth, and sustainability. Power of buyers will impact the level, growth, and sustainability. Power of suppliers, industry rivalry, the competition in the market. Some industry, they can fight and fight, not fighting physically, fighting on price, like reduce price. One reduces price, the other one reduces price. And before they realize, the industry is making negative margins. Okay, because they're spending all their money either uh, on this battle, okay, or they go into, because of the rivalry, they go into huge advertising budgets, right? They spend so much money on adverts, and if the advertising budget is so high, that means the total cost of production will increase. That will affect the level growth and sustainability of profits in the market. So industry rivalry is another force, and the power of substitutes and complements can all impact this. I will go into some of the indicators, okay, not all, but I'll touch on some under each of them. Okay. So entry conditions, what are the characteristics you should look out for when you're analyzing the entry of new business, the entry conditions for an industry? Okay. First one, entry costs. How expensive is it for you to start this business, to actually enter into the market? You should do the numbers well on this, okay? Entry costs, speed of adjustment. This I see is very critical. How long will it take you to normalize to become like an average firm in the industry? How long? Will it take you 5 years to normalize, or 10 years to normalize, to become like an average firm? What is the speed? Okay. Certain industries, you go in today and tomorrow you are just like those who came in 10, 20 years ago, because you can compete with them on cost, you can compete with them on inputs. Okay. Other industries, you enter and your cost of production for 10 years is so high that your competitors are producing at the lowest cost. It takes you a long time to adjust. Okay. It takes quite a long time. That is the speed of adjustment. Okay. How quickly can you adjust? If it to take you 20 years to adjust, please, maybe you should find another business. Okay. Sunk cost. Sunk cost is also one of the factors. Sunk costs. If the sunk cost is very huge, then you will not even enter. Okay, so sunk cost can become an obstacle for you in terms of entry. If you have to exit, you can't get anything back, and then you will not enter. Economies of scale. If some firms are so big in the economy, in the market, or in the industry that they have economies of scale, the average cost of production is very low, then it may affect your entry. Okay, because they are big corporations. If I want to produce what, I don't know, choco products, I'm going to compete against big companies. Okay, and they have economies of scale, they have branches, they have production, the value chain is well developed. Okay, so that can affect my entry. Then maybe I choose something else. Okay, network effects. There are certain industries you cannot just walk in. Somebody in the industry has to pull you in. Okay, pull you in. It's like literally pull you in. Okay, they need to give you information on cost. They need to give you information on market. They need to even convince their input suppliers to supply you. Okay, so and don't entering into the market is not just, oh, I feel like I want to start this. And you need to do a very good job, okay, on analyzing. Maybe you can just go and sit by somebody who produces the product and become friends with the person, observe the market, observe the production system, and the person will explain a bit to you before you put in. So you don't get experience by actually doing it, but by observing people, right? Or observing other firms, you get experience so that you don't repeat mistakes. Business mistakes are very expensive. Okay. You could have enjoyed life with that money. Okay, go on holidays or something. So if you lose like 1 million cedis, can you imagine what you could have done with that? Okay. All right. So network is important. Reputation is important. Some brands have huge reputations, so you cannot enter into those markets. Switching costs. Can you easily switch from the production of sachet water to bottled water? Okay. If you can easily switch, then you enter. Okay. But if you cannot switch, then it will be linked to the sunk cost. Government restraints. Government can prevent entry. That's what I was saying, that government plays a very important role on the structure of the market. Entry conditions, government play a role. Okay, government can say that for this industry is protected. Okay, all right. My executive MBA class last week, they were saying that, they give me an example at the airport, the testing unit or something at the airport. They said there's a restraint. Yes, Andrews, come in. Maybe you know more about government restraint. Come in, please.
Good. I was trying to unmute, but then
It's
yeah,
fine. Go
my
ahead.
concern is with the government. So
Yeah.
my problem is when the government also want to monopolize access to the, I don't know, for whatever reason, like the banks that we have now. When banks are being closed, I mean, or in instances where radio stations or something, how do you handle that? Because if the government is not also controlled, they will also abuse power. So how is that handled?
Andrew, that is the question about who polices the police. That is the big question. That is a social dilemma. Who polices the police? Who supervises the supervisor? You need to just build up a system, like a structure, a national level structure, that you don't need government A or B to be in power for the structure to work, right? So then the rules are well written, that these are the conditions under which the firms will exist in the market. And if you go beyond or below those conditions, then you have to exit the market. So that is something that there's no magic bullet to that problem. The only issue thing you can do is that as a country we build up the structures. The structures have to be strong, transparent structures, that we all know that we are all radio stations. We should do A, B, C, D, E, F to stay in the market. The regulator has to do that. All right. And then in the event that I don't comply, what are the sanctions? This should be well written. Okay, so that people don't feel that, okay, my bank is being closed because of A or B or C, but it's based on what we all know. Okay, so that's the only thing. You um, you can't say it's government, like it's government institutions have to work. Once they work, then the burden is on those institutions to do the right job. And if they don't, you take them to court. If and then you argue your case out. And then the legal systems have to be strong. So there are a lot of PPA studies on institutions, how institutions matter for efficient efficient management of the economy. But I will not go so much into these institutions. Just saying that government can also restrict that. It's not even in developing countries alone. Certain industries in certain countries, they are protected. Okay, they will protect certain industries. Okay, a foreigner cannot just come in and set up. Okay, so these rules are there. Okay, so that's what we have to do. Yeah, there was another hand. The hand is gone. I don't know whether the person was contributing regard. Okay, I saw a comment in the chat box on these things. Is that not where the CSOs come in here and the media to critique them? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, institutions have to be strong. So that if it's media who have to articulate that the closures are illegal based on the structures that we have, then they have that. Okay. Yeah, CSOs put pressure on government. So try to keep checks. We are doing a better job now. Now there are a lot of CSOs for health, for education, all manner of things. So they can put checks on that. So yeah, it's a tricky one. You can still talk and talk and talk, and the people will do the opposite. So we all have to collectively know where we are going as a country. All right. So on these entry conditions, we are saying that government restraints can also influence that. Okay, you can't enter into certain markets. Power of buyers. Let me just touch on the supplier concentration how many suppliers are in the market. If you are producing a product and your main input is supplied by only one firm in Ghana, your business is not sustainable. Okay. The guy decides that I'm not selling to you today. That's the end of your industry, your business. Okay. So look for options. Okay. Price, productivity of alternate inputs. Can you find alternate inputs? So for security reasons, for sustainability reasons, you need to always look out for alternate suppliers and alternate inputs. In the event that even when there's a challenge with one supplier, you still have other suppliers. Inputs. If you don't have the inputs, you can't produce. Okay. Relationship-specific investment. Invest in the relationships. Okay. So become friends with the input suppliers. Okay. Talk to them in such a way that even when there's a shortage, they will still supply you. This is very important. Supplier switching costs. Can you easily switch suppliers? Government can also play a role when it comes to influencing the power of input supplies. Okay, so that this input suppliers don't also create a monopoly on that side. The market is very weird. There can be a monopoly on the final product, and there can be a monopoly on the input. That only one firm in the whole Ghana is producing the input. Okay, they can take the whole industry for granted. Okay, if you guys misbehave. Okay. Any question? So that's what I was saying, that you need to analyze the market using this particular slide. It helps a lot. Power of buyers, how many buyers, buyer concentration, the price value of substitute products in the market. Okay, if there are a lot of substitutes, then your industry is not sustainable. People can easily switch. I'm coming, AJ, just a minute. Relationship-specific investment, also create a relationship with your buyers. Why? Because certain cases, the buyer may be using your product as an input for another product. Okay, and therefore, if that product market is not doing well, it can affect their future demand for your product. Okay, so talk to them. How is life? How is business on the other end? Okay, so if their business is doing well, you know that you have a future because they will keep coming back. Okay, so form those very good relationships. Customer switching cost is important. Can customers easily switch? If they can easily switch, it can affect your level and growth of the business. Government restraint can also impact this market. Okay, Stephen, come ask your question, please. Stephen AJ. Oh, it's answered. Okay, let me check the chat room. Yeah, it's 1 hour for. What's the name? Class rep, can you save a longer video? Can you save and share a longer video? Then we can continue. Yes. Is that Christian Safo? Yes, your hand is up. Go ahead, please. I can't hear you. I don't know whether it's just me. Can you guys hear him?
No, we can't hear him.
Okay. Class rep, should we continue so that you save it and share, or you want me to break it down?
Sir, please, I think you can continue since they can share all the longer videos.
Okay, so save the longer video and then share. It's just that it takes a while for my side, but okay, let's continue. All right, so the power of buyers, the power of input suppliers, the rivalry in the market, concentration, the number of firms who are that are competing. Are they competing on quantity, quality, or what? On price? Okay, so that you can be in a market, but you may be competing on price. Just who has the cheapest, lowest price, or who has the best quantity, the highest number of quantity units, or who produces the best product. Okay, so know what you are competing on. Just don't be in the market for being the market's sake. Okay, what is the basis for the competition? Cement, are they competing on price? I think cement is more on price. The size is almost the same. Quality, from some of us, we are cement blind. We can't tell about quality. If you you open up 2 cement bags, I can't tell anything. I can't tell. I know people are very good at these things. They can tell. I'm sure people can tell between if they pour if you pour Coca-Cola in a cup and you pour Pepsi in a cup. Can you guys tell the difference? Can you guys tell the difference? Anybody? Pepsi in
No.
a cup, Coca-Cola in a cup with no bottles, no labels. Can you guys tell? Anybody? Anybody can unmute. Just the taste. You can tell. Okay. This Mark says just the taste. Okay, so some people can tell. Some of us, yeah. Nah,
Just by looking at it, I don't think I can tell, but when I taste it, I'm sure I can tell.
you can tell when you taste it. Okay, I see.
Yes. But just by
Maybe
looking at it,
you can't tell when you just look at it. Okay. Yeah, maybe you also can tell when you look at it, when you taste it. Some of us, whether we look at it or we taste it, Coke is Coke. Yeah, so you have to understand your market. People can tell the difference in quality, in taste, and other things, okay? And then you can be competitive on that. Degree of differentiation, how different are the products in the market, okay, can impact the extent of rivalry. Okay? Switching costs, timing of decisions. When you are in a very competitive market, sometimes you need to wait for other firms, the big firms, to make a move before you follow. Meaning that the big firms will make a decision whether they want to increase price before you increase price. Okay, so that is very important. Information is also very important. In competitive markets, you need a lot of information. These are the markets where firms begin to plant spies in other firms. It's illegal, but yeah. So the guy is a CEO in my company, but he works as a cleaner for your company. And he's feeding me with all the information. Before you increase price, I know already. Okay. And then so information is very key in this market. So Gasem, Diamond, all that. Okay. Don't underrate the people that work for you. Government restraints can also impact the extent of rivalry in the market. The last bit, substitute and complement, or do impact this. The price of other products. There are a lot of Coca-Cola, I was told, a lot of cola products that are in the market. So these products, they may come at a cheaper price, and they create competition for Coca-Cola. I don't know whether there's competition for Coca-Cola and Pepsi, but yeah, you can think of this. Pepsodent, the toothpaste, all that. There may be other products in the market. Price value of complementary products, the value of complements can impact your product. Okay. If people are buying more of the other product, which is a complement to your product, then they'll buy more of your product going forward. Network effects are very important. The network between the goods, okay, are very important. Government restraints can also, government can put an embargo on these other products that are being imported. Government can say you cannot import toothpick, so that you cannot import toothpaste. Okay, so all these things will impact level growth and sustainability of industry profit. And you want to be in an industry where they are making good profit, right? So you don't want to be in an industry where it doesn't have a future. Okay. Any question? Okay, now let me go into the structure of the market. I'll introduce some of the characteristics. The number of firms. So 4 markets that we have pure monopoly and the extreme perfect competition. So the extremes are perfect competitive markets and the monopoly market. In between, you have some form of imperfect markets. Okay, so we'll go into the details in a jiffy. Okay, so the 2 extremes. If you take the number of firms or number of suppliers, if you have many of them in the market, you have perfect competition. Okay. Many suppliers, then you have perfect competition. Okay. If you have just what do you call it? one firm. So if you're approaching few, then you're approaching monopoly. Okay. So if you have a single firm, you have pure monopoly. So that is on the characteristic, the number of supplies. In terms of whether or not the product is differentiated, here, if you have low differentiation, there's no difference between Antiama's tomatoes and Antiacosia's tomatoes, no difference. If that is the case, then you are in perfect competitive market. So for perfect competitive market, the product has low differentiation. Okay, lots of kiosks or containers. In some places, there are 5 kiosks on the right side of the road, and there are 5 on the left side, and they are opposite each other. And they are selling almost the same product. Low differentiation. You can't tell the difference. Okay, so they are in a very perfect competitive market. High differentiation, the product is almost unique. You can't find it anywhere, or you can tell firms A product from that of firm B. So high differentiation, then you're approaching monopoly market. Okay. So monopoly market, you have a unique product. Okay. In terms of barriers to entry, if the barriers to entry are low, then you are approaching a perfect competitive market. And if the barriers to entry are high, there are a lot of barriers to entry, and then you're approaching pure monopoly. Okay, so that is the case here. Okay, so you have high barriers to entry. You cannot enter into those markets. Then you're approaching pure monopoly. Let me read the comments and then move on. Doc, my question has to do with the entry requirement here in Ghana. You can see that foreigners are taking over our market, and sometimes people are fighting with these foreigners that they are taking over their market. Is it that our entry conditions? Okay. I don't know what to say about foreigners coming. It's also our institutions, right? The issue, I have a project on, they are doing data collection right now on Chinese into different businesses, okay? And this is what I see in the data. They are able to do some of these selling of clothing, linen. They are basically, the data is coming in, and yeah, basically in every sector that you can see, okay? And what I see is that maybe the entry conditions are not so high for them because they have the resources, right? So if they want to rent a shop, it's not so much money for them, okay? But for the average Ghanaian, maybe to rent a shop for 500 Ghana or 1,000 Ghana cedis a month is a lot of money, okay? So they're able to venture into. So these are some of. It's not like the entry conditions in terms of government embargo on them. It's not that can be there. The government can put an embargo saying that you cannot venture into this business, like they were doing with the foreigners, the Chinese and the Nigerians some time ago. So government can impose that, but the entry conditions in terms of the cost of entry may be very low for some of these foreigners, and they are better positioned to enter into this market. The truth is that a lot of them are in partnership with Ghanaians. So you see that they are running a business, and either the Ghanaian is partner or front end or something. Okay, so that is what at least from the field work that we do, that's what I've seen in the market. How do you determine the barriers to entry in the case of oligopoly market? I've not gone to oligopoly markets yet, but there can be barriers to entry in terms of cost creating a barrier, government creating a barrier, even economies of scale can create a barrier. The firms are too big that they create a barrier for you. Okay, so lots of factors can create market power. Okay, so if you have a lot of money, you can produce, you can buy the machines. Okay, so it's back to the characteristics of the market, the structure. All right. So these are the 3 characteristics: the number of suppliers, differentiated products, barriers to entry. We can go on to the the exact structure. So let me put all into all the four markets. Okay. So we have perfect competitive markets on the left-hand side and a monopoly market to the right. Okay, there are two extremes. If it's a monopoly market, the characteristics are listed here: number of firms competing, nature of the products, entry, information availability, firms control over price. So these are the characteristics. When you take the number of firms, for a perfect competitive market, there are a large number of them, so many firms. Okay. For a monopoly market, you have just a single firm. So that's the characteristic. Okay. Nature of the product, undifferentiated. In perfect competitive market, the nature of the product is undifferentiated. You cannot tell persons firm A's product from that of firm B. Antiamax Garden X is the same as Antiaposius Garden X, undifferentiated. Okay. Large number of tomato sellers or Garden X sellers, product is undifferentiated. Monopoly, single firm, product is unique. Okay, you can't find it anywhere. In terms of entry, for a perfect competitive market, there are no barriers to entry. Okay. For monopoly market, the entry is blocked. Okay, you cannot enter. It can be blocked by government rules, can be blocked because the monopolist is just too big, or everybody's afraid to enter that market. Okay, so it can be blocked. In terms of information availability in the market, for perfect competitive market, there is complete information. If I want to, let me mute somebody. If I want to sell tomatoes tomorrow morning, I can just go to Medina Market and ask how much a basket, where they get the product from, and I'll get the information. It's complete information. Tomorrow morning, I'll be selling. Okay. No barriers, because there's also no barrier. I can sell tomorrow. For monopoly market, asymmetric information. You will not get information. We don't even know the average cost of production for monopoly. The only thing they tell us is that, yeah, the price have increased. We have increased the price. So asymmetric information, okay, in monopoly markets. The last characteristic here is firm. In monopoly market, the firm makes the price. Okay, substantial control over price. Okay, so monopoly market is a substantial control. In perfect competitive market, no single firm has market power or has control over price. Antiama cannot go to Accra Central and today and say that, as for me, my tomatoes, I'm going to sell a basket for 500 Ghana. You don't have that power. If you sell for 500 Ghana, because there are a large number of firms, we all move to the other firms. Your firm will collapse. Okay. So in perfect competitive market, you don't have control. In monopoly market, you have some control. So as I was saying at the beginning, if you want to really make a lot of money in the market, a perfect competitive market is not something for you because you don't control the price. Okay, it's controlled by the market forces. Okay? And anybody can come into the market. If you are making profit in a perfectly competitive market, we will all come into the market and produce, and profit will fall. Okay, so profit levels, supernormal profit is not sustainable in a perfectly competitive market. Okay, all right. So these are the two extreme markets. And you can have oligopoly market, which is much closer to a monopoly market. And then you can have a monopolistic competitive market, much closer to a perfect competitive market. All right, let me go to the characteristics for monopolistic competitive market. Large number of firms, just like competition. However, in terms of the nature of the product, for a monopolistic competitive market, the product is differentiated. So this has to be very clear. The product is differentiated, okay? But large number of firms are producing it, okay? But the product is differentiated. Entry conditions, few, there are few barriers. Relatively, good information. If you want to go in, you may struggle a bit, but you can get. Okay. Control, some control, but not so much like monopoly, some control. What product or industry can you think of that can approximate to a monopolistic competitive market? Large number of firms, differentiated product, few barriers, relatively good, some control. Any examples? Any examples? You can raise your hand. Yes, Francis.
ECG.
ECG as monopolistic.
Monopolistic.
There are a large number of firms competing. No, ECG doesn't. We don't have a lot of firms competing in the electricity
I mean
supply.
monopolistic.
Yeah, so it's more monopoly, not monopolistic.
Yeah. Okay.
So keep the market very clear. The characteristics are very thin, but if you mess up, it can affect you. So monopoly market is a single firm, but the monopolistic competitive market, there are large number of firms. Okay. My question is on monopolistic competition. What are some examples for Ghana? Yes, Randy, and then we come to James.
The beverage sector.
Come again. Beverage. I don't know. Beverage sector. Okay, let's take James. James, go ahead whilst I read the comments.
Bottled water.
Bottled water.
Yeah.
So there are a large number of firms competing. James, I'm doing this with you. Differentiated.
Yes, differentiated.
They are differentiated. You can tell the brands. Entry conditions few. If I want to do bottled water, what are some of the barriers? Do I need certification?
Yes,
FDA?
a lot. FDA and those things.
Okay. Information availability, people can still tell you where to get what, right?
Yeah.
So not complete, but relatively good. Some control, are they able to charge different prices?
Yes, they do.
They do. So there's some control. So maybe Vortec will be a relatively different from Verna or the other brands in the market.
Belacqua and those
Belacqua. Yeah. So bottled water is a good example of a monopolistic competitive market. Let me go into the list. So that was James. Let's take James and Bismarck. James.
I just spoke. I'm sorry.
Oh, you just spoke. Okay.
Yeah.
Bismarck.
Simply the alcohol industry. Those who produce the alcohol.
Are there a lot of them?
Yes, there are a lot of them.
Okay. What are some examples? Those who know.
Please, those who know, help me out.
Oh, Master, you do know.
Those who know.
Which kind of alcohol?
They're asking you a follow-up question. Which type of alcohol?
Those alcoholic drinks. That's on the market.
Okay.
There are a lot of them.
There are a lot of them. So, are they differentiated? Bismarck, are they differentiated? Maybe they
Yes.
are. Few barriers. Maybe if you want to sell alcohol, there are some regulations. You can't just get up and sell alcohol. Relatively good information, but the price differences will be there. Okay, so maybe it's a good example. I can take another Elizabeth. Yeah, let me take one lady. Elizabeth, example.
Hotels and pubs.
Are there a large number of hotels now in Ghana? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A product differentiated. You can tell if you are going to hotel A or B, the big brands and all that. So
yeah.
What are the barriers to setting up a hotel? Anybody? who knows this industry very well? Elizabeth, if you know.
Tourism, Ministry of Tourism registration and those things.
The board, the registrations are there. Okay.
You have
If
to
you
go to EPA. You
EPA,
have to go to fire service. There are a lot of
Assembly.
the local assembly, the district assembly, all that. So there are barriers, relatively good information, and some control. And they are all charging different prices for their rooms. So more monopolistic. It's not a perfect competitive market because they are differentiated. They are not undifferentiated. It's not like there's no barrier. There are some barriers, and there's no complete information. So yes, let me see the hands up. Yeah, Jamal, go ahead. Jamal, you're muted. Please unmute yourself and go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, Prof. I
Yes.
wanted to talk about the airline industry.
The airlines, where will you
Yes.
put them?
Competitive, monopolistic.
Jamal, hold on a second, all of you. Let me just finish the oligopoly market, and then we can put all sectors into a market, right? So let me just go through oligopoly market. So oligopoly, Jamal, you'll be the next person. So we discuss the airlines. So hold on. Oligopoly market is not a single firm; it's a small number of firms. In oligopoly market, the product can be undifferentiated or differentiated. It doesn't matter. So for oligopoly market, you can have undifferentiated product, or as long as it's small number of firms. Small number of firms, differentiated or undifferentiated. In terms of barriers, there are many barriers. Information is asymmetric, so just like monopoly, and there's also some control. Okay, so small number of firms, differentiated or undifferentiated, many barriers, asymmetric, and some control. Now let's go to Jamal. Jamal, where will you put the airlines?
So I think I'll still keep them at monopolistic competitive.
Are there a lot of airlines in Ghana?
In Ghana, locally, no, not that many.
So locally, where will you place the airlines, local airlines market?
So I think those okay. For that one, you go to your oligopoly.
There will be oligopoly market. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but internationally maybe.
Okay.
But locally you can have. Yes. Patience. And then I read the comment from the chat. Patience, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to give an example for the monopolistic competition.
Please go ahead.
I wanted to say clinics and pharmacies.
Are there okay? And there are lots, right?
Yeah.
Patients. Are there large number of them?
Yes. And there are barriers to starting a pharmacy and then a clinic.
Okay.
Yeah, you need approval, some documentation for you to enter here.
Okay. Yes, I know the pharmacy. If you don't have those documentation, they'll close you down. And there are a lot of task force people roaming in town for that. So yeah. So there are few barriers to entry, relatively good information. If I want to set up a pharmacy, maybe I'll have good information about it and I have more control. So it can fall under that. Let me pick some comments and then I'll ask you a few markets then. MTN, the telcos, where will you place the telcos? Anybody, where will you place the telcos? What market structure? Yes, let me see who hasn't spoken today. Priscilla, let me take Priscilla and then I come to James. Priscilla Mensah.
I will put them at the oligopoly.
Oligopoly. So Priscilla put, so there are a small number of them. Priscilla, are their products differentiated or undifferentiated?
It's undifferentiated.
It's undifferentiated. So its data is data.
Yes.
Okay. And then many barriers. Is that the case?
Many barriers. Yes. Very, very, a lot. It's also very capital intensive.
Capital intensive.
Yes,
Okay.
and you must meet certain requirements before you be able to enter.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so the rest will check out asymmetric information. We don't know really the cost structure of these companies. Now that some are listing, you get to know. And then they have price control. They charge their own prices on their product. Let me check the list people have. So telcos, beverage industry, somebody mentioned, somebody emphasized Adonko. Domestic airlines, yeah, all these are very good examples. Patience, your hand is still up. I don't know whether it's from the old one or
Yeah,
on
I
the
wanted to say that automobile industry.
in Ghana. How many do we? What market or international?
Maybe Kantanka.
So is it? So that industry, we have the import side, import market, and then the manufacturing. So for manufacturing, maybe it's a monopoly, but for the retail, it's probably a large number. So, what are the barriers in the telco? Somebody listed some of the barriers. I don't know. I have no clue what the exact barriers are. He listed, in fact, she listed the costs as a very important, capital intensive, and then you may need some NCA certification and other things. Okay. The person who explained that can come back. I think she mentioned very good points about the restriction with the telcos. I think it was a lady. All right, let's go on. You can think of that. You can take a look at the insurance market. Insurance market has moved from a monopoly and it's approaching perfect competitive market. Maybe insurance is now close to monopolistic competitive. But some 15, 20 years ago, it's SIC or nowhere, right? And then Downwells came in and all the other insurance companies came in. So the insurance have worked this whole journey from monopoly, oligopoly to monopolistic. TVs and radio. TV, radio. I don't know where you place televisions now. Is it monopolistic, maybe monopolistic competition? Yes, Priscilla. Yeah, Priscilla
Perfect
was explaining.
competition.
For what, TV?
Yes. I will say that because of the influx of social media, people are actually doing TV from their homes. You don't need much. People have TVs online, TV and radio stations online and all that because of the influx, the advent of social media.
So it has reduced the barriers.
Yes.
Yeah. People can
and as you can see, a lot of TV stations are actually closing down. Some can hardly even sustain themselves. A lot more people are laying people off. Yes.
Really?
I've been in the TV industry for a while. Yes.
Okay. Wow. And there are Ghanaian TV channels. Some
yes,
are shutting
Ghanaian
down
TV
already.
channels. Yes.
Yeah, we are all part of the problem. I think I'm the number one culprit when it comes to TV. Yeah, so that is interesting to know. Let me take a chat and I take Bismarck. Television will be monopolistic. Somebody says television will be monopolistic. I can see why you're saying that, the branding and all that. Bismarck.
So please, I think with the radio and television, they've moved from monopoly to oligopoly, and they are now at monopolistic.
Okay. And from what Priscilla was saying, they are heading towards, or if they are not there yet, they are heading towards perfect competitive market. Yeah. Okay. All right. So these are the characteristics. Just take your time, go through the characteristics, be able to understand what monopoly is, what's monopolistic competitive market, so that you don't confuse these characteristics. Okay. I have about half an hour. I'm going to, yes, Theophilus, I'll spend time on how to manage if you find yourself in a competitive market. And then I don't know how far I'll get to, then we continue to how to manage if you find yourself in a monopoly market. In fact, if you find yourself in a monopoly market where you are the only producer of the product, you are in good business. Okay. if you find a product that everybody will buy from you, please give me a call. All right, Tiflos, go ahead.
So, are they limited to boundaries or like jurisdictions? Because I'm asking this because when you cite TV, I feel there's still it can still fall under under monopoly, because online TV is not the same as mainstream terrestrial TV, because your online TV, there are limitations. If the government decides to block, like what Uganda does, they decide to block, limit their natives to the kind of information they get online, then in that sense, it will still come back to resorting to the main terrestrial, what we've migrated to. So I want to know the distinction, whether it's linked to boundaries or it's not linked to boundaries when you want to make a decision.
I would say that, okay, you are the businessman, right? You want to enter into an industry. The first thing you have to ask yourself whether the industry is restricted to a location. What industry are you entering? Are you entering to an international market, or are you entering to a local market? That is for you to define. And then you need to understand the characteristics in the market. The TV and radios industry is a bit weird and interesting at the same time, because it goes beyond boundaries, even if you don't want to go beyond boundaries. Even if I'm producing cocoa and or cocoa product and I want to sell it in Ghana alone, I can do that. Okay. But if you're on radio and you even want to be just a local Ghana channel, somebody somewhere can still listen. So it depends on you as a businessman whether you are going into the international space or not. With regards to the different types, whether there are restrictions and government can block it, once government hasn't blocked it, you are still in the international space. Okay, so if government hasn't blocked it yet, you are in international space. If government blocks it, then it narrows your reach. But you can still analyze the structure, whether it's oligopoly or monopoly. So it's like the airlines. The airlines, if Ghana is resurrecting the Ghana Airways, it's going to go into the international markets. Okay, it's not going to go into our local airline market. So now you have to analyze the competition on the international market. What is the competition on the Heathrow KIA routes? So what is the competition on Newark to Accra? What's the competition? That's the level at which you analyze these things. Okay, so it depends on the kind of product. If it's international product or local product, then you can do the analysis. That is how I think. Priscilla, please come in briefly.
I just wanted to add to what you were saying, that even because of the information systems we have available now, you realize that even the traditional media, he's talking about terrestrial and television, you realize that all of them have now also moved online in order to be able to maintain the competition they are having from online radio and television results. So now the market is much more open. It's not like Uganda, as he was saying, it's not blocked. So we are in the international space, and unfortunately, it has become a very competitive market. I can wake up today and then start an online TV or start an online radio. So if you look at our local, even GBC, TV3, UTV, the local stations that we have, they are all online on YouTube. You can find them on Facebook, you can find them on Instagram, you can find them on Twitter, everywhere. So it's an open market now.
Yeah, I agree. And for all of us, even for people watching, if you come to my house, the things they are watching, I would say it's 20% in Ghana and 80% outside. So the market is, and you are picking and choosing from different countries and different suppliers. So it's becoming very competitive. So So if you sit in Ghana and you think that you are serving only Ghana market, you're making a big mistake. So I agree, but you need to analyze it for the context. Maybe what we are saying today holds for monopolistic competitive market. The next few months, you may actually be in a perfect competitive market because of the level of change in that market. You are moving to international so quickly. And people in Europe or North America are also listening to radio channels in Ghana or through other means. And if you are sitting in the US or in Canada and you're listening to a Ghana radio, you could have been listening to a local American channel. So they're also competing. It's an international space that the competition is going on. Somebody mentioned something. I have no idea. I cannot speak to that. Landlords of office space. Where do we place landlords of office space? I have not met any of them yet. If you can get to know them, Gifty, let me know. Okay, I don't know whether they're. It depends. Accra is very expensive. Okay, like the amount of money we are paying for, like 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, is insane. Okay, for office complex. So I don't know how the landlords are behaving. People are paying like way too much just to sleep and wake up and go to work. All right, let me go into the how to manage in a perfectly competitive market. I'll set the tone, and I'm not sure I'll finish it today. I'll set a tone, and then next week we can build up from there. Priscilla said it right. They are in a category of their own. Yeah, they rule the country right now. All right. Conditions for perfect competition. What are some of the conditions? I've explained them, so I'm going to go through really quickly. A very large number of suppliers and sellers in the market. No single producer, by varying its own output, can affect the total market output and hence the market price. So in a perfectly competitive market, no single producer, by increasing the output or reducing the output, can affect market output. Okay, and hence no single producer have control over market price. It means in the perfect competitive market, all the producers are price takers. They don't make price. Okay, they take the price as given by the market. Okay. Products are homogeneous in nature, meaning that they are selling almost similar products, and therefore there is the presence of perfect substitutes. If you increase yours, I just move to the next person, and they do the same thing. Okay, so if you find yourself in this market, that is some of the character. Free entry into and exit. We talked about it. You can walk in and walk out. Okay, you can just say, I will not sell tomatoes today. Tomorrow I'll sell plantain. You use the same basket. Okay. All right. Suppliers and consumers who are fully informed about profits. Even consumers are fully informed about profit. It will not be difficult for me to kind of know the cassava seller's margin. Okay. I'll just walk, and I do that a lot. I'll go there, sit by the roadside with them, and then ask how are things. And then they'll tell things are not easy. Nowadays, if you bring 1 bag of cassava, initially we used to make this, it's easy to get the information. Okay. So we are, even as consumers, we are fully informed about profit levels. We are fully informed about prices. I can get the raw price in the market anytime. I just have to talk to about 5 cassava sellers and I'll know the average price. Okay. And the characteristics of the products in the market. So there's no ignorance in a perfect competitive market. There's no ignorance on the supplier end, and there's no ignorance on the consumer end. We know your profit. We know what the cassava is worth. So you can see that you cannot make profit in this market. Information is common. Okay. I know that if you sell it at 20 Ghana, I can get it somewhere at 10. I know. Okay. So the perfect competitive market, these are some of the characteristics. And as I said, no firm has a cost advantage, meaning that no firm is able to produce at a much lower price than other firms. Okay, their cost is almost around the same level. Okay, the containers and the kiosks that you see, their cost is almost the same, and their profit is almost the same, and their margins are very small. Okay, If you buy an item from them for, I don't know, 1 cedi, their profits on the item is probably like 5 cents pesos. Okay. So they are just adding 5 pesos, 5 pesos, 5 pesos to get 100 cedis. It's not a joke. Okay. So in this market, if you want to become a billionaire, this is not the market for you. If you want to get up and go to a job, maybe. Okay. So no firm with a cost advantage. All firms have identical cost curves. The cost is the same. And no firm has control over price. Okay. You don't have a cost advantage, and the price, you don't decide the price. Okay. So that is the perfect competitive market. Any question? Okay. Let me go into other characteristics. The marginal revenue for a perfect competitive firm is horizontal. What is the marginal revenue? Remember, I explained margins. So if you bring that marginal analysis to revenue, it's just saying the additional revenue that a firm earns by selling one more unit of an output. We are saying that that additional revenue is fixed. Okay, it's horizontal, it's fixed. Why? Because the firm can sell all the output at the market, that fixed market price, which therefore price equals, maybe if I go in there. So that is the first key point. The first key point is that the marginal revenue for that firm is fixed. The additional revenue the firm earns is exactly equal to the market price. Okay. If I want to get additional revenue by selling one more unit, I just get the market price, the price of the item. That is my additional revenue. I cannot increase that price to get additional revenue. I cannot do that. So the additional revenue is influenced by the market forces. Okay. So you don't have a lot of power. So you are saying that the marginal revenue curve for a perfectly competitive firm is horizontal, because the firm can sell all the units and the market price. What do we mean by perfectly horizontal? Let me use the whiteboard to explain that. Okay. This is what you have. So let me try and draw this quickly. If you remember, when we drew demand and supply was upward and demand was downward, and that decided the price, right? For a firm in the perfect competitive market, the price that he's dealing with is fixed. He doesn't control that price. It's fixed, it's horizontal. So price is P, can be 5. So the price is 5. Whatever you do, this is price, this is price, this is quantity. Whatever you do, you have to sell it at price 5. That's it. Okay. So the only way to make money in a perfect competitive market is to sell more, because whatever you cannot increase the price to get more money. You can just sell more. Okay. Certain quantity, and then you sell more. But the additional revenue is just the price that is fixed. Okay. So you sell more at price 5. So the additional revenue is just, in this case, is just 5. So Q1, and then this is Q2. Okay. Additional revenue, oops. Yeah. Additional revenue is fixed. So the marginal revenue curve for a perfect competitive firm is horizontal, because the firm can sell all the units of the output at the market price. So I've just shown you guys that is price 5. Therefore, price equals marginal revenue. So for that person, the additional revenue just equals the price in the market. So I can just say price equals marginal revenue. Oops. I can just say price equals marginal revenue. In fact, let me put it here. The horizontal line here is the price anyway. So that is price, P equals to MR, marginal revenue. So the additional revenue you get is just the price. And in fact, in a perfect competitive market, that additional revenue you are getting from selling one more unit is also exactly equal to marginal costs, the additional costs. So the additional revenue you are getting exactly equals the additional cost of producing it. Okay, which also equals the market price. So you can see that there is no room for making supernormal profit. Okay, because the price you are getting is just covering your additional cost of production. Okay, so we are saying price equals to marginal revenue, also equals marginal costs. Okay, and so you will not make so much here. Okay, so price equals marginal revenue in a perfectly competitive market. How do you make money in a perfectly competitive market? Let's go back to the whiteboard. How do I make money here? Because I'm not controlling price. Price is fixed by the market, so I can't control price. How do I make money? Somebody has a comment. I'll come back to that.
So you sell more.
You sell more to make money. So that is one. Another way, you make sure that your average cost of production is lower than the market price because you don't control the price. So if you put up your cost curve like this, your average cost curve, okay, the minimum of, one second, so let's say this is average cost. The minimum of your average cost should be lower than the price. So if I map it somewhere here as the minimum of my average cost, let me use a sticker. Okay, if I put it here as the minimum, it means that on average, I should be producing this product per unit at 2 Ghana cedis in order to make a profit. Okay. So the profit on an item for me is the difference between how much I produce this unit and how much I get in price. Okay, that will give me my margin. It means that my cost has to be lower than the market price. I cannot control the market price, it's fixed. Okay. If you have a case where the cost is your average cost of production is exactly equal to the price you are getting, then your average cost is sitting on the price line. In this case, the minimum of your cost here, it's equal to the price. So you are producing a unit at 5 Ghana cedis and you are selling a unit, you are producing a unit at 5 Ghana cedis and you are selling it at 5 Ghana cedis. You are just breaking even. Okay. So to make money here, you have to minimize cost. You have to be efficient so that you can minimize cost. If you are not efficient in a competitive market, you are out. Okay. If you are, this case is not good for you, where your minimum cost, the minimum of your cost is 8 Ghana cedis. So on average, you are producing bottled water per unit at 8. So you're producing it at 8. Put the 8 somewhere. And market price is 5. So on each unit that you sell, you're making a loss of 3. This is not sustainable for you. Okay, so you have to, that is the key aspect here. In a perfect competitive market, you have to minimize costs to make profit. If your cost is higher than the price, you are going to make this margin of loss. Okay, you are going to make this area will be a loss for you. This whole area will be a loss. Okay, the difference here will be a loss. Whilst if you are able to minimize, you are going to make this area is going to be your profit. Okay, this area is going to be your profit. Any question? Okay, so the point about the market, the firm. So the right-hand side of the panel here is the firm. The firm is a price taker. You can see that. So the firm is a price taker, as I've explained, and the price is coming from the industry, the market forces. Supply, total market supply, interact with market demand. Then that decides the price, and then whatever price is given price 5. The firm just takes the price 5 and minimize the cost on it, okay, to make profits. Okay, so whatever the price is, that is it. So price takers, firm and market demand curves. This is the market demand and supply that will decide on the price, and then each firm will take the price as given. Okay. Each firm takes the price as given. I have about 10 minutes. Let me explain the optimization. I've explained this graph on the whiteboard. So that is you have it also on this former slides, where the market price is higher than the minimum of your average cost. So here, the average cost is lower. So the shaded area here is your profit, okay, just as I tried to do on the whiteboard. Okay, so the shaded area is your profit. Okay, so as we said before, the objective of the firm is to maximize profit, which is defined as the difference between total revenue and total cost. Okay, so you want the shaded area, you want a bigger shaded area where the revenue you are getting from the higher price in the market is greater than your total costs. Okay, so total revenue minus total costs gives you pi, which is profit. What is total revenue? Total revenue is the quantity that you are able to sell times the price at which you sell it. That will give you TR. So that will give you total revenue. If you sell 100 units at price 2 cedis, then total revenue will be 200. Okay. And the total cost, we've gone through cost already. So fixed cost plus variable cost will give you total cost. Okay. If you take out the cost from your total revenue, that gives you your profits. And as I said, to maximize profit, a firm should produce the level of output where the marginal revenue equals marginal cost. You should produce to a point where the additional revenue you earn by producing a unit equals the additional cost you incur producing it. Okay. What you want is that you get more than the cost, but the optimal level should be where your change in revenue or the additional revenue you get from selling or producing one output should be equal to the additional cost you incur. Okay. So we are saying that marginal revenue also equals marginal cost, which I explained on the whiteboard, where marginal revenue is the change in total revenue per unit change in output. If output changes by a unit, how does that impact your total revenue? That is the change, and that is the marginal revenue. And the marginal cost is the change in total cost per unit change in output. If you change output by unit, or if you produce one more unit, what will happen to your cost? What change will happen to your cost? So the change in cost as a result of a change in output is the marginal cost. And we are saying that for competitive market, the additional revenue just equals the additional cost. So you're not making so much. And then that also equals to the price. So you take the price from the market at 5 Ghana, and it's almost the same as the additional cost of producing it. So this market, you will not find a lot of people who want so much money in this market. And the average persons in very competitive markets who are rich are not so much. Okay. All right, so this is a case of supernormal profit, where the price is higher than, you can see here that it's not higher than only the average like variable cost. It's higher than the average total cost. It means that the average price you are getting for your product is able to cover the average fixed cost, and it's also able to cover your average variable cost. In totality, it's able to cover your average total cost. If you can do that, then you are making supernormal profit. You'll be making normal profit if your price you are getting covers only the average variable cost. Then you are making normal profit. But if you are covering both normal, average, variable, and fixed, average, variable, and average fixed, then you are making supernormal profit. So all you do in competitive markets is, what is the price of bottled water? Now I want to come into the industry. Can I produce bottled water at 50 pesos or 50 pesos? I don't know how much a bottled water costs now. Maybe 1 cedi. I don't know. If it's 1 cedi, then you should be producing it at 20 pesos per bottle, so that it can make 80 pesos per unit sold. Okay. But if it's 1 cedi and you're producing it at 99 pesos per bottle, then your margin is just a peso. Okay. So because the market, you cannot go into the sachet water market and say that as for me, I'm increasing it so much. Okay. So these are some of the issues in perfectly competitive market. This is an example of a loss. I've also explained that on the whiteboard, where the average of the total cost is higher than the market price P2. You make losses. You don't want to be here. Okay. All right, let me try and end on this note. Should a firm shut down? Should a firm shut down, temporarily stop production? When the firm is making losses, should the firm shut down? Okay, like this case, if the firm is making a loss, where the average total cost is higher than the price, should the firm shut down? Anybody? Priscilla, your hand is up. I don't know whether it's from the old one.
Yes, sir, please. It's the old one. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, a hand. Jama, yeah. Should a firm shut down if the firm average total cost covers is higher than the market price?
Prof, right away, I will not say they should shut down. At least they should look at the cause of the losses. So at least they can make amends and move forward. In business, that is how it is. You don't just run out right away make profit, but you just look at the long run.
Okay.
That you can make up for the losses you've made.
So if you are going to the long run, you're still making losses for 5 years.
No, Prof, that is what I'm saying. You look at the effect. If you can look at your production, the cost of production, if you can beat it, so that at least you can make up for the loss that you made.
Okay. Very good points made. Francis, then we come to Kelvin.
Yes, sir. It shouldn't shut down. A firm should only be shut down when it's not able to pay for its variable cost. That's the labor cost and cost. That's the labor cost, or if it's not able to pay its workers and finance its operation expenditure, like the day-to-day operations. That's why it's
day-to-day operation. That's when it shuts down.
With this one, the firm is able to pay its workers, so it shouldn't shut down.
Okay. Kelvin, then I'll take the comments from Kelvin. Do you have a follow-up to that? You're muted, Kelvin. Okay. All right. Let's go on. So should a firm shut down? We are saying that as Francis, one of you guys said, yes, you shut down if the price you are getting doesn't cover your average variable costs. Okay. The day-to-day running of your business. If the market price you are getting is not able to cover the labor costs or any variable costs, electricity, things that the operational costs, the day-to-day, if the price doesn't cover it, then yes, you should shut down. However, if the price that you are getting in the market is able to cover the average variable cost, it's not the total cost, average total cost, but at least the average variable cost, then you can still be in business. Okay. As long as you're able to cover the average variable cost. Yes, Samuel. Come in, you are muted.
Yes, Doc, I wanted to say that the firm can only shut down if the average revenue is below the average variable cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I think you have already.
Yeah. So that is the key part. So some of you are running your own businesses. Some of you are planning to run your own business. Keep an eye over your cost, the fixed cost, the variable cost, and compare it to the price you are getting. Over time, if you are not able to pay your variable cost, electricity, every day you are in arrears, you are cutting your power, workers, that means the price you are getting from the output is not able to compensate for the running of the business. Okay, and then you may begin to consider that. So the shutdown point is the point where the price equals the average variable cost, the minimum of the average variable cost. That is the point where beyond this equilibrium, if the average variable cost is higher than the price, then you shut down. Okay. So if the price is lower than the minimum of the average variable cost, then shut down. Otherwise, continue to produce, even if there are losses made. Okay. All right, I'm going to end today's class here. Any question? All right. The person who recorded, don't forgotten the name. Please make the recordings available to your colleagues right after the class. Some people can go over the recordings. Okay. Please kindly make it available to them.
Okay, sir.
All right. So please don't wait for the material to pile up before you review. Okay. Do it in a systematic way so that every stage you are on top of it. Okay. By now you should have reviewed the cost, and then you go into market structure. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys the next week. Yeah. Let me check the chat box if there are any questions. Okay. All right. I will upload the slide onto Sakai also for you guys. Okay. If it's not there, class rep, please remind me by the end of the day. Have yourselves, enjoy the rest of your afternoon and keep safe. If you have to take the vaccine and you are part of those who are in the first group, don't run away. Don't behave like the primary school days when tetanus people will come, people will take off. Okay. I wish you guys the best. See you guys next week.
Anything for the boys.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hmm.